So, Gauss Prime has arrived, and what a way to arrive, right? The best Prime trailer yet. Hey, what's up, you beautiful feckers? How you all doing? Now, I just love the fact that they gave him so much character or personality in the trailer. He openly mocks the corpus before chasing them down. Hell, he even knocks the Granum coins clean out of one of them, and the music fits perfectly. So please give all future Primes personalities like this. But how good is Gauss Prime? Gauss is, oh, that's something they also got right. They actually managed to say his name correctly. Last time around, when Gauss was originally released, his trailer pronounced him as Gauss. This time around, he is Gauss Prime. He is the complete package when it comes to Warframes. He is a fast frame, he can strip armor, he has damage reduction, he can be built as a weapons platform to boost your weapon damage, he can be built as a room nuke, and his abilities all synergize really well with one another. You do not need to subsume another Warframe's ability onto him in order for him to be good, although some players still do that to, I guess, amplify some of his abilities. You could add Roar for a better weapons platform, you could add Nourish to help with your energy regen, add Silence for better damage as well, and add Chirinka Pillar like me for an area of denial, since it is going to be a ranged build. Again, he is already the complete package. Now, this is my Gauss Prime. He focuses on high range, thermal sunder, and a 100% upkeep of red line while having a constant energy regen. So let's go over how I've modded him, or how I play him, or how to optimize him for your own playstyle, and where you can farm all of his parts and relics. Now, Gauss Prime has got higher shields than the normal variant, he sprints slightly faster, and he has got an extra dash polarity as well. His passive is his kinetic battery, bottom right of the screen. Basically, this battery will fill up as he moves, maxing out at 80%, which is that red line on it under normal gameplay. So he's a Warframe that needs to keep moving, you cannot stand still. Now, his first ability, Mac Rush, is a high speed dash when you tap it, and it is a sprint when you hold the ability down. Each use of this will boost his battery by 10% plus additional charges for every enemy that you hit. And with his red line ability active, this will cost less energy, and it will allow you to go above the red line on that battery. Now, Mac Rush is an ability you either like or you don't. Some players don't really like it. This is the ability that some of them will choose to replace with a subsumed ability. But his second ability is called Kinetic Plating. This is a shield that will grant Gauss damage reduction based on your current battery level. It also grants energy whenever Gauss takes damage, so it is a kind of built-in rage mod. When active, Kinetic Plating will synergize well with Mac Rush to cause bleed effects when you crash into enemies at high speed. Kinetic Plating also grants immunity to knockdown, staggers, and so on. With Red Line active, however, this will also stagger enemies on impact. Now, his go-to ability for a lot of players when modding Gauss is called Thermal Sunder. This will be a tap for cold area of effect, and you hold the ability down for a heat area of effect, so one or the other. Depending on your range, this can be a huge area of coverage. The cold effect, when you tap the ability down, will slow enemies or even freeze them if your red line ability is active. It will also charge up your battery quickly to 100% if you keep using it, so that's just the cold one will charge the battery. The heat mode, however, will ignite enemies, spreading heat status effects while also venting the level of the battery down a little bit each time. So it won't build up your battery, it reduces it. So cold will build, heat will reduce. But when you combine the two of them on an enemy, it causes an explosion, quite literally. If you activate the heat mode of Thermal Sunder on enemies already affected by a cold status effect, it will cause blast damage, or vice versa. If you do cold and then heat, any combination of the two will basically cause blast damage, and the result will strip enemy armor. The amount is going to determine how high up your battery level is. With red line active, which it should be at all times, and your battery full, it will 100% strip enemy armor. Or if you have corrosive projection aura equipped, I think you need 82% of the red line battery level to get that 100% strip. Basically, what I do is I run around in red line at all times with Kinetic Plating turned on to help me with damage reduction, but also help me with energy regen, spamming my cold procs until I get my battery level to 82% or higher, and then I go nuts casting heat procs twice, followed by cold, and then I just keep rotating that until my red line runs out, until my battery level goes down below 82%, and then I ramp it back up again. My weapons will also be spreading heat, because Redline will allow me to get extra damage from those heat procs from Thermal Sunder once I cast it. Now combine that then with the Cold Sunder and you can hit enemies for hundreds if not millions of damage with each cast. Now like I said, what I do is I cast Heat twice or even 3 times in Redline. Then I follow it up with a Cold cast for insta-killing trash mobs. You could also prime enemies for Heat with a sidearm or a primary weapon if you like. The Epitaph or the Atomos or any other weapon that will spread Heat status effects for additional spreading. And then you can nuke them with the Cold since it works really well. But that is entirely up to you. Which brings us to the Redline ability. This is Gauss's nitrous oxide switch, his NOS. Redline allows Gauss's battery charge to go into overdrive above that red line on your UI, basically increasing its limit. This will increase your attack speed, your casting speed, your reload speed, and your fire rate. It also causes a knockback when you cast it or when the ability duration ends. Redline will reduce the energy cost of your first ability, Mac Rush, whenever you use it. It will give his kinetic plating, his second ability, additional damage reduction and also staggers to enemies that you impact them with. It will also cause his Thermal Sunder to strip armor and nuke enemies, and it will change his appearance ever so slightly as well. Now, when modding Gauss, you're going to need to focus heavily on duration, but also have a balance of range and energy regen since it is a bit of a spammy setup. Power strength isn't so much of an issue, especially if you have Molt augmented, the Arcane, which can offset his power strength back up to 100%, although power strength isn't really anything you should be really focusing on with your Gauss if you're going for a Thermal Sunder build. He doesn't really care about power strength, so even having that Molt augmented, bringing it back up to 100% is nice, but it isn't needed. Like I said, you don't need that Arcane. You can relax if you don't have it. But this is my Gauss Prime build. I have got 3 setups for him, all modded pretty much the same way. High duration, high range, normal efficiency, and low power strength. Normal config, Nourish config, and then I have got Chirinka Pillar as well, which is kind of an ability I'm really enjoying right now. Corrosive Projection will allow armor stripping at 82% Redline battery level. If you want to use that, you can use Brief Respite, Growing Power, whatever you want. Archon Vitality will allow double heat status spreading whenever I cast my Thermal Sunder Heat version. Archon Flow will give me a few energy orbs when enemies shatter, but it's a personal choice. You don't really need it, but however, extra energy orbs, I'm not going to say no to them. Equilibrium is also a mod that is up to the user. My companion does drop a lot of health orbs, so this allows me to gain way more energy from those, and the rest is just duration and range. Now, Nourish is pretty much the go-to subsume for Gauss right now since it spreads viral, but it also helps with energy regen. But again, he doesn't need a subsume, and some players love his Mac Rush the way it is since it speeds up the battery charging. Now, I'm not a fan of running into walls, which is why I dropped it. With this much range, Chirinka Pillar gives great ground coverage since you have 2 pillars and it spreads radiation, which means enemies are kind of busy beating each other off and not you. Sorry, up. If you're looking at Archon Shards, then red shards for more duration and yellow for cast speed would be my preference, since duration is the key stat for this Warframe. I have got almost 80 seconds on each one of my abilities. Gauss Prime is an absolutely amazing frame. If you don't have him, then you should get your hands on him. If you do have him, then share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you want to farm him, then these are the relics you're going to need to get your hands on. If you need the relics themselves, you can get relic packs off syndicates, off the Nightwave cred offerings, or just by running missions where relics will drop at certain rotations. Lith relics you can farm on quick missions on Earth excavations or Mars defense for sustained farming, or even void captures. Meso relics can be farmed on Saturn, Mars, or Void in the same way. Neo relics you can get on Neptune, Void, or Uranus. Again, focus on fast, quick mission types. And the Axii relics, Pluto, Sedna, and again Void, same thing. Go for quick, easy extracts. Or you can just trade for his parts for platinum in trade chat. Completely up to you. Like I said, let me know in the comment section below what you think of Gauss Prime, his kit, if you have him yet, if you're enjoying him. Have a great day either way. Have a great weekend as always. Thanks for watching.